Coming up on Fulton Today, property owners get their first look at what their investment is worth as the county mails out more than 300,000 assessment notices. And we'll take an up-close look at the newest class of fire recruits and what it takes to be a first responder. Fulton Today is next.
From the Government Center in downtown Atlanta, you're watching Fulton Today with Shania Chavis.
Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. Thousands of county taxpayers learn the assessed value of their property, and with that, an idea of whether or not their property tax bill will increase or decrease this year. David Fitzgibbon is the county's chief appraiser. Sir, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thank you for having me.
All right, so the new tax assessment notices started going out earlier this month. I got mine. Talk to us about that.
The Georgia Code requires all assessor's offices in the state to mail every property owner a change of assessment notice each year. We mailed approximately 334,000 change of assessment notices on June 6th. There will be a 45-day period for those to be appealed, and there will be a final date on the assessment notice that should say July 21st is the last date we'll file an appeal if you disagree with the current value that we have on that notice. There are only three reasons you can appeal. You can appeal on value of the property, you can appeal on uniformity, whether or not we've used the same methodology with all the properties, and you can appeal on taxability, meaning whether or not it is actually taxable or exempt.
And sir, any major changes in the values this year, and if so, where?
We did have some slight changes. The total tax digest will be increased less than 2% due to market value changes. We did adjustments on Class A apartment buildings as they are still a great investment and the rents continue to hold steady. And we made some adjustments in some residential areas, and of course we picked up new construction such as new houses, additions to houses such as swimming pool decks and enclosures and so forth.
And let's now talk about appealing your assessed value. What's the most important bit of information you want property owners to know about that process?
And we certainly like to encourage everyone to file their appeal online and also take advantage of our new online appeals resolution center, which allows you to attach documents, send us pictures, statements, or anything that you want regarding your appeal. And going electronically certainly helps speed up the process, helps us solve the appeals and settle them more quickly, and makes it easier for the property owner to file those appeals with us.
And as we recently saw, you have some new technology to help in this process. Explain that.
We're very proud of our website. It has a wealth of information. There are several tabs that allows a property owner to look at maps, to search property by address, owner's name, parcel number, map, location. Once you get a parcel or a group of parcels or a map area up, you can create mailing address labels, you can look at sales of other property, you can compare your property characteristics and value with other properties. We have a product called pictometry, which is aerial photographs which take an image of every parcel in the county from 4 different sides at a 40-degree angle, as well as a straight down orthogonal view. So it is a wealth of information that we would encourage everyone to get in and just explore around and use it for any purpose that you think you can.
The county's chief appraiser, David Fitzgibbon, thank you so much for your time and the information.
Thank you for having me.
Now, if you have questions about your assessment notice, log on to fultonassessor.org or call 404-612-6440. Meanwhile, Fulton's good fiscal management has afforded it huge savings in interest rates. Chief Financial Officer Patrick O'Connor briefed Fulton commissioners on the news that the county received historically low interest rates on its tax anticipation notes. TANs, as they are known, are similar to loans and are used by most large governments to manage cash flow during the year. This year, Fulton saves over $396,000 in interest payments compared to what was budgeted for 2014.
In Fulton County, received the highest credit ratings possible for their sale, and that once again resulted in the lowest interest rate Fulton County has ever paid in its history.
The less the county uses on interest payments, the more it can spend on county services. So just what does it take for the largest county in the state to conduct a general election? Well, students attending Fulton County Citizens University got an overview of the Registration and Elections Department during week 10 of the 12-week interactive class. Registration and Elections Director Rick Barron explained each division of the department and the Secretary of State's role in the registration process.
I learned that there was a inherent system within the voting machine that has a redundancy for accuracy. You know, you always wonder how can you keep coming up with different numbers of votes and the like. The only thing that does that is when they have to put the ballots through the machine, and the machine will reject them in case people put two candidates for the same position or something like that. But the redundancy that's built into the system is exceptionally accurate.
The students also got a close-up look at the absentee ballot processing center.
And even when we go through picking the ballot, stuffing the ballot inside the envelope, guess what? We had a team to even double check that. Let me see.
And with the general election coming up in November, it was timely information for FCCU students.
Getting to learn the things behind the scenes and, you know, of course, the different challenges. But at the same time, I understand how there's some efficiencies built in with technology and so on. But we do have a little ways to go still, you know, and hopefully they would allow the directors and his staff here to implement, you know, new technologies and other ways of making the election process more efficient.
Next week, we tag along as students get an overview of the justice system. And justice prevails for a robbery victim in South Fulton thanks to quick thinking of a Fulton County police officer. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has the story.
Shania County leaders, police, and the Fulton Industrial Community Improvement District have been working hard to turn things around here on Fulton Industrial Boulevard. So when an officer quickly arrested the men accused of robbing an employee at gunpoint walking near here, they made sure to formally recognize him. A robbery spree stopped in its tracks. A business relieved the suspects were quickly found. And it's all thanks to a Fulton County officer.
So knowing that you're making a difference and you know, doing good in the community we have a lot of businesses out here, and being recognized really does feel good.
County leaders, the police chief, and the Community Improvement District had a special ceremony for Officer Alexander Lazick. They recognized Lazick after he tracked down two men accused of robbing and assaulting an employee walking to work.
We feel like his actions were such that he went beyond what he was required to do, and his efforts were a direct reason why these assailants were apprehended.
Just hours after Lazick talked with the victim at the hospital, he noticed a suspicious car at a gas station. He discovered the men inside the car had evidence connecting them to the armed robbery.
I discovered one of the perpetrators had the victim's cell phone. The same perpetrator actually had a taser that was used in tasing the victim.
The officer also found a wallet, so he contacted that person and learned they were robbed earlier that day at gunpoint in Clayton County.
Initially, you know, I just thought I had, you know, some suspicious activity, but piece by piece I was able to uncover more evidence linking them to our armed robbery, and then in the end linking them to several armed robberies that occurred in Clayton County.
Turns out those suspects were wanted for 4 other armed robberies in the last 24 hours. The chief of police told us she's glad for groups like the CID. She says it helps them prevent public safety issues here along the boulevard. Reporting along Fulton Industrial Boulevard, I am Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Now, the district commissioner also applauded the officer. We'll hear from him in our district-by-district coverage. Meanwhile, Fulton firefighters are training over a half dozen new recruits to become first responders in the county. There are 9 trainees this year, including 1 female. For the past several weeks, the recruits have been learning how to deal with various kinds of fire and non-fire related emergencies. This day, they learned how to put out a liquid propane tank fire. Each wants to be a first responder for unique reasons.
I've always been involved with different aspects of public service. I've done some search and rescue in some past and I've participated in my community emergency response team. And this was just an opportunity for me to combine some of my strengths and my disparate experience to help my community.
Fulton firefighters serve the unincorporated areas of South Fulton County. The recruits have all passed their training and written exams and are officially first responders. We'll show you their graduation next week. And still to come, residents speak out about the health services in the county. We'll have that story in our district by district coverage next.
Watching Fulton Today.
A Fulton commissioner gives praise to an officer for ending a crime spree, and another hears firsthand about the health concerns in the county. Here's this week's district by district coverage. In District 5, the men of the Darnell Senior Multipurpose Facility kicked off their Father's Day weekend with a special recognition just for them. Their fellow center participants honored them for their fatherhood and for their service to the facility. The annual event to highlight the group is called Honoring the Real Men of Darnell.
We do not have many opportunities to say thank you to the men of the Harriet Darnell facility for all that they do to make this program a success. It's hard to get them to sit down and take an award, but we are so grateful to the staff for arranging this program so that we would have an opportunity on behalf of the entire community to say thank you to the real men of Darnell and the real men of this community.
The Darnell Senior Multipurpose Facility is one of the busiest senior centers in the county. There are daily events and outings planned for senior residents. To get involved, call the facility at 404-613-8580. District 6 Commissioner Joan Garner hears from her constituents about the county health services they like and most need. Staff from the health department hosted a series of listening sessions. This one was at the Neighborhood Union Health Center. Fulton offers primary care, dental, behavioral health, job search, and women and infant and children services known as WIC.
It's important for Fulton County to share what services are available to this community, but it's more important for us to hear what's on the minds of our residents and what services they need.
The county has health facilities all over the county, from Alpharetta to College Park. Staff will consider the feedback from the listening session to determine how they can best serve each community's needs. And finally, in District 7, Commissioner Edwards joins the chorus in thanking Fulton Police Officer Alexander Lazick for his quick action. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the Fulton Industrial Boulevard Community Improvement District Board of Directors publicly commended the officer for catching 2 of 3 suspects just hours after they had robbed and attacked a person at gunpoint. Commissioner Edwards says Fulton Police are committed to cleaning up the corridor.
This is a wonderful occasion tonight to honor one of our Fulton County's finest. Many years ago, people had no respect for this so-called Fulton Industrial Boulevard. But through the conscious efforts of business people, community people, and Fulton County, we were able to turn this boulevard into a viable community.
The Fulton Industrial CID Board has partnered with Fulton County to make FIB a viable corridor for businesses and families. And still to come, the county joins the White House in the fight against HIV. We'll explain when we come back.
Fulton Today.
Fulton's health department joins the White House in the push to prevent the spread of HIV. County health professionals took part in one of the listening sessions held around the country conducted by the White House. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn has the story.
AIDS-related deaths are going down, and awareness has been increasing.
Nowadays, the number of deaths continues to decrease. In Georgia last year, we had only 277 deaths by people living with HIV. You go back to the 80s, it was essentially a death sentence.
The country has come far in HIV and AIDS treatment, but there is much more to accomplish. So the White House Office of National AIDS Policy is hosting a series of listening sessions to better understand local and state efforts to defeat HIV/AIDS.
So it's understanding what's going on in your own backyard. Are the needs of that local population addressed? You know, you can look at the national statistics, you can look at Georgia as a whole statistics, but what we really need are to look at data, statistics on a county level, because the health departments go by individual counties.
Another federal goal is to have every person with HIV on antiviral therapy. That medication can reduce the chance of transmitting HIV up to 96%. So the first step is to get tested. The Fulton Health Services Department has extraordinary outreach efforts and a number of locations where anyone can learn his or her HIV status. Over 700 people each year learn they have HIV in Fulton County Health Department clinics.
We can test you for HIV and other co-infections. We can link you to care there. We can do partner services as well. So we are a one-stop shop at the health department.
Patients who do test HIV positive are enrolled in the HIV clinic that day, so they can get started on medication and counseling right away. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Lynn Vaughn.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Meanwhile, environmental health staffers are making sure that thousands of children who jump in the pools this summer are, in fact, safe. Environmental health teams are working to prevent injury and sickness by inspecting public pools in the county. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says each year, thousands of people are treated in emergency rooms after inhaling pool chemicals or getting splashed with them. Fulton's Environmental Health Division inspects and issues permits for 1,700 pools at apartments, hotels, and fitness centers. There are things you can do to protect yourself as well.
What you want to do is when you come into a pool enclosure, you want to make sure that the water is clear enough so that you can see the main drains. Also, you want to make sure that you see the life ring, a shepherd's hook, a first aid kit, and a telephone for you to dial 911.
Now, if you are concerned about a public pool safety issue, call the environmental health team at any of those numbers right there on your screen. Do you want your lawn to have that wow factor and get a great exercise in the process? The Cooperative Extension Service hosts gardening events at area libraries where you can play in the dirt and move a muscle or two. At the summer gardening class at the Perry Homes branch, people learned how to make beautiful flower beds just like the professionals. Lesson 1, knowing the difference between annual and perennials and when and where to plant them.
Annuals you have to plant every year. You plant normally in the spring or summer, and they'll come up during spring or summer. You do have some summer annuals, and you have some warm annuals and cold annuals. And so they're just gonna bloom that one season, and then they'll be gone. Perennials, they come back every year.
This is just one of a number of gardening events at our libraries this season. To learn more, go to afpls.org. And still to come, a look at some of the summer activities at the county's parks and rec centers. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Nonprofit arts organizations looking for some funding need to listen up. Fulton's Arts and Culture Department is providing grants worth up to $150,000. The groups must have programs in Fulton County that run from July till the end of the year.
The arts funding serves as a leverage to help create the rich culture that's within the community. And it also helps the organizations as they are looking to attract other funders to support the work that they do.
There are several guidelines for the applicants, so the Arts and Culture Department staff is requiring first-time applicants to attend a workshop or consult with the department before submitting an application. The last workshop is at the Oak Hill Child, Adolescent, and Family Center this week. If you missed a workshop or you want more information, you can call 404-612-5784. And finally, summer fun is in full swing at county parks and recreation centers. Campers at Welcome All Park in South Fulton are enjoying outdoor activities and arts and crafts. The facility is also open for any Fulton County family wanting to use the playground, pool, or basketball courts.
For kids to be active every summer is very, very, very important. You know, our childhood obesity has gone through the roof. Being active, you know, as far as getting all type of recreational activities involved is very good.
There are even events for seniors. To learn more about the programs at any of the county parks and rec centers, visit the department's website. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to hear from you about the stories and programs right here on FGTV. Go to our website to take a survey. You can also email us at fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. You can follow us on twitter.com/FGTV, find us on Facebook, and watch us on YouTube. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for joining us. Join us each week for news around and about